The common saying is misery loves company, but the opposite is also true, is that happiness loves company. And interestingly enough, happiness loves companies. Welcome to another episode of Self-Employed Success Secrets Weekend edition with me, your host Marcus. On today's episode, we're going to talk about how happiness loves companies. Okay, the same way people say, oh, misery loves companies. This is the case because, in my opinion, humans are naturally evangelistic, meaning that they feel the need to spread and share and multiply what's going on inside of them. And this is why it's super imperative to be as happy as possible, because what's going on inside you is going to be transferred to somebody else. That's actually the law of transference. You could actually look this up. But we've talked about on previous episodes that happiness loves companies. That if you're happy, that attracts clients. But on this episode, we're going to go a bit more in depth about it and just give some real life examples of how the tangible benefit of happiness and how that actually goes about getting clients. The other video was about a general overview of it, but this is more in depth with real life examples that you can use to help your business get to where it wants to go. Because if you're happy, you're gonna bring people to your business. And the first question to ask is why. Actually, before that, let's step back a second. There was a video we made a few weeks ago, and it was talking about be the exact opposite of your clients. So feel free to check it out. It should be up on the screen right now as you hear my voice. But this is why happiness loves companies, okay? It's because it's the opposite of how most people who are looking for help are. Most of them are miserable and lost, and you should be in a place of happiness, and you're not lost. You're on a clear path, a path of, a future endeavor and just excitement. And your goal as a service provider should be to be as healthy, happy, humble, hardworking, and honest as possible, okay? And when you exude these things, people are going to see it, and it's going to help them. And also, too, you find yourself in a situation where you're miserable, it may be a good place to take a step back and assess why. It's because there's a famous saying that misery has a way of clarifying one's convictions, meaning that if you're miserable, you're in an unhappy state of life, it has a way of indicating that the deeply held beliefs that you have may not be as important or as effective as you may think they are, okay? And then, so if you're miserable, you're looking around, a lot of people are miserable, a lot of businesses are miserable. They're like, why am I not making money? I'm working all these hours, or, I'm around all these people who are doing well, but I'm not doing well. There's something going on, and it's good to just assess what you're looking at. But that's on the flip side. I just wanted to let that be known, because a lot of people who are self-employed, they have a lot of mental health challenges because it's so difficult, okay? And this is going to help you, but you want to be as happy as possible. And there's a lot of different factors that affect this happiness, whether it be what you do outside of work or how you like your job. We're just talking about today how happiness attracts clients, okay? It's really important. Because people want to be around people that are upbeat, who are jaunty, and jaunty is just a fancy word of saying someone who's lively, cheerful, and acts in a self-confident manner, okay? Because you have to remember, these clients are looking up to, they want somebody happy because they're miserable, okay? And so knowing that happiness loves company, meaning that if something good is happening, you want to share with others. Happiness loves companies because it attracts people to what you're doing. Because happiness, in a lot of ways, a lot of people's minds, or dare we say felicity, is the apex of just human existence. It's the number one thing that people are after. And if you have something that other people have, it creates a sense of intrigue. Like, well, why is this guy? This guy's different than me. We can learn from him. That needs to be that basis of kind of like student and teacher when you're self-employed, because if you can put yourself in the teacher stance and as a student, it creates the dynamic needed for a successful self-employment venture, as we've talked about in previous videos. But it's really important because you want to be happy and whole so that you can fill holes, okay? as the old folks say, Jesus saved my soul and made me whole, okay? And you want to be happy so that you can help these people, do a good job. And other people want to be around people. I think about, who would you want to work with? Who would you want to look up to? Would you want to look up to somebody who's sad and morose, or someone who's, upbeat, happy, and ready to get the most out of life? And so these principles will help you. And, a good example is like, let's say you go into a coffee shop, and there's like a good example of this in real life is that, let's say you go into a coffee shop, also too, stay tuned for a surprise. Let's say you go into a coffee shop and you're just sitting there, and then you see like a placard or a little easel on the front desk, and it says something like a joke, like, okay, it's just something that you could do to show something that's happy, and I'll explain why this matters in a minute. But like, let's say it's one of those like jokes you see on the back of a Laffy Taffy candy. I don't even know if they make those anymore, but it's a joke like, oh, why did the bike stop to take a rest? Because it was too tired. As corny as that joke sounds, it's actually pretty funny. And so little things like that, with bringing happiness. Happiness is so important because it's so real. It's something that everybody wants. And that when you can display that softer side, a lot of people have their guards up. Now, this was talked about in a previous video, but so many people have their guards up that when you say a joke or say something very honest and real, people just they relax. Okay, people want to feel relaxed. Thinking about anything you buy, you want to feel safe, and when you feel relaxed, you usually feel safe. And so there's so many things you can do to just, to just be happy. Even just coming in with a smile on your face. Clients don't want to hear about your problems. You need to come off as strong and as stable and secure as possible without being fake. We want to appear strong, stable, and secure, but not be spurious about it. Okay. And so you want to be honest, but still be strong. And how do you do this? In the darkness of your life, in the shadows and the sub-rosa parts of your life, be strong. When you don't feel like doing work and you push through, you gain an ounce of strength. We talked about this in a previous video, but the point of this video, the crux, the thesis of this video, is that happiness loves company. This is a general truth. The same way misery loves company, happiness loves company too. People who are happy want to recruit other people to be happy. But the main point of this video is that happiness loves companies, okay? Meaning that feeling of happiness you can create in other people will lead them to paying you money, okay? And this is very important because you want to be happy. You don't want to work with someone who's stressed out, who's complaining about their job, who hates their job. If you look around, people who are at the top of their fields are usually very happy people going to work, which is, interesting. And that juxtaposition, the evident juxtaposition of the ostensible juxtaposition doesn't have to be that. They don't have to be polar opposites. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. Like, you don't have to hate your job to get paid well. You can like your job and get paid well. Kind of had an epiphany a while ago about how you would think people who are high paid, you're like, of course they're happy. They're high paid. They're happy because they're high paid. It's a very common thought to have, but it probably makes more sense that they're high paid because they're happy. Because there was a point in time in their life where they didn't have that job, and they couldn't have gotten the next one unless they were doing a good job of the other one. And it makes sense that to do the best job you possibly can, you should be happy doing it. So aiming to be as happy as possible. There's a lot of factors that influence being happy. It could be what you do outside of work, whether you like your job, how other parts are going. But the point of this video is just that happiness loves companies. And so when you can make other people happy, they're willing to, sacrifice for you and give money to your venture. Okay, so aim to be as happy as possible, be as real as possible. Gave some examples. Another good example would be like if you, play a practical joke on somebody in a fun gesture, that makes people happy. Like if someone's like let's say you're a lawyer and someone's like, hey, I'm going to be a bit late to the meeting today. You have a meeting with someone. They say to you, hey, I'm going to be a bit late to the meeting. And they say, okay, I'm a few minutes late. And then you say no. No, it's not okay to be a few minutes late. They freak out for a second. And then you send them a text and you're like, I'm just kidding. And they start laughing. And then that's a really good joke to use. Even as a starter, you could just be like, you could meet someone at a networking event or something, and they're like, oh, what do you do? And you're like, I do nothing. And, they're like, what? Or be something like, and you can just say so many things to just be funny and let it be a joke. Like, you can go to an event and start talking in Spanish or something, and then people don't understand you. And then after a couple of minutes go by, you're like, oh, I speak English. And be like, that'd be a funny thing you can do. Obviously, I'm not condoning deceit or subterfuge or anything like that, but just just doing something unexpected and funny that gets people to loosen up. 'Cause a lot of people are not loose at all. They're very tight and afraid of the world, and impending doom is on their minds. And so just hang in there and then be funny. And at least our next surprise is that if something's going on in your life, this is a good thing to think about. Like, you want to bring more clients, you want to bring this happiness into their lives about what's going on inside of you as a person. And remember, when things happen in your life, remember this phrase, is that it's not happening to you, it's happening because of you. Okay, it's a very deep quote. It can help you. It's helped me, kind of go introspectively and think, if something's happening in my life, whether good or bad, like, what did I do to cause this? Whether it's a bad result or a good result, or to not cause this result. So yeah, thank you so much, and have a good rest of your day, and enjoy your Sunday. Bye.